What is up, Starseeds? I'm Sid, and today we are going to be talking about soul purpose versus soul mission. Because people often ask me, Sid, what is my purpose in life? And I say, nothing. And it's not depressing. Nobody has what I classify as a purpose. Let's settle this right now. Let's look it up. I wasn't planning on doing this, but the definition of purpose is the reason for which something is done, created, or exists. It is an intended goal, an aim, or the practical use and function of an object. Broadly, it represents an individual's why or driving force that motivates action and gives meaning to life. So, yes, you could argue that people do have purposes. I would rather call it mission, though. A mission is a specific, important task or assignment that a person, group, or organization is dedicated to accomplishing. It serves as a guiding purpose and often involves a strong sense of duty, calling, or objective. So, I mean, really, they're both good words, but to me, everybody's purpose is to simply exist and to be. The thing that I don't like about the definition of purpose is the main bold statement of it, the reason for which something is done, created, or exists. And the fact that it's like the practical use and function of an object. Like, the practical use and function of a human is to just simply be and do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you don't have to do something specific. Everybody's purpose is to just exist and live and sit in the grass and look at the sky. But when it comes to our mission, a specific important task or assignment that a person is dedicated to accomplishing, that's where it gets juicy. That's where I want to look into it and see what your soul missions are, because usually there's multiple. And if you want to call that your purpose in life, you can totally do that. I'm just saying this is how I like to use the words, you know? Like, I've always said, screw the labels, forget about the labels, it is what it is. But when I'm explaining this to somebody, I like to kind of use certain words to articulate myself. The fact that you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is simply enjoy this meat sack that we're in and enjoy this whatever the heck we're thrown into, this life, okay, this environment. But if you want to know why you came here, what the mission is, what the assignment is, so you can understand the assignment, so you can complete the assignment, then I can tell you that based on your natural talents in astrology, based on your trauma from past lives that often is reflected in your astrology as well, because this is all written down for us in our astrology for us to interpret. And yes, there's multiple different interpretations of it, but I feel like as an intuitive astrologer, I've gotten pretty good at uncovering what that is. So no, we don't have a purpose, and I think that's beautiful. And whenever I'm stressed out, I like to remember that. But whenever I need motivation, whenever I want to feel super dedicated and passionate, I remember the assignment, I remember the missions. And I think that's a pretty good balance, okay? We all have certain archetypes that we resonate with. There's so many different types of missions. I don't really want to get into them because I don't tend to label them. I have other videos talking about soul archetypes, which I often don't like to label those either. There's people that do, and sure, they can resonate. I often resonate with just about every single one of them. There's definitely certain terms that I find myself using a lot. Priest and priestess being one of these archetypes that a lot of people who come to me for these intuitive Akashic record readings have in their past lives, and also possibly in their astrology too, but that's more of a thing that I see with past lives is, oh, you were, you know, an Egyptian priestess or a priest in Hydra or in Lyra even to a certain extent, or these other places where it has a little bit more of a religious energy rather than spiritual. Don't get me wrong, Lyra was very, very spiritual, but it had kind of a religious sense to it, a less corrupt version of religion, for sure. There's these other places too that had more of a religious sense to it, Valpecula being one. I don't want to sit here and say if that was corrupt or not. It was just different. There's people who are explorers. Often people with Andromeda constellation past lives have been explorers. Also earthly past lives as well as probably the Pleiades, Orion. There's so many different places where you could have been an explorer. Andromeda galaxy, Lyran refugees. There's people who are more connected to plants than the majority of us. There are people who are more connected to architecture, people who are more interested in relationship dynamics with people, in friendships in particular, or in romantic relationships in particular, in family relationships in particular, in working. There's people who have a certain goal and mission that they want to accomplish in a specific career field in this life to either better themselves, better the world, or usually both together. They're contributing something useful to the planet, and also it's healing a part of their soul at the same time. There's people who have certain missions within their family unit. There's people who have certain missions to just spread light to other people, to help awaken people. There's people who have soul missions to either plant the seed, to help kind of develop the seed, water the seed, help people learn and grow. There's people who are literally here. They are meant to wreak havoc in certain areas, in certain families, in certain friend groups, in certain careers. This can either impact a community, a company, a friend group. Sometimes it might just be one person in particular, and sometimes it's the whole world. It's on a public, large, major scale. Those are just some examples of missions. Oftentimes people have what they would call a hobby. It's some kind of artistic, crafty, creative thing. It could be making music, it could be making art, making some form of clothes, some kind of object. It could be a service that they do too. And their art, whatever that is really meant to help the world. It inspires everyone who comes in contact with it, everybody who, buys their product or whatever. If it's a really actually good, beneficial, eco-friendly, inspiring kind of product, it helps a lot of people, and that's their soul mission. They're meant to do that because that is giving a little boost to everyone, who uses it, who finds it beneficial. A lot of people are waking people up through their art, through their music, through their creativity, through their videos, through whatever. Some people have a soul mission to advocate for a certain thing. This could be on a large scale, this could be on a smaller scale, just mentioning it to a lot of different people throughout their life. And a lot of us have multiple of these soul missions, and there's so many that I didn't name. Whatever you feel like is a mission of yours probably is. And if you don't know and you're embracing the fact that there's no real, purpose to this, we're meant to just do whatever the heck we want, you can embrace that too. That's why we don't have a purpose. We're just here willy-nilly, having fun, having a good time. And if you want to get down to the soul missions, the soul assignments, so that you can really progress your soul more, I encourage you to do that, obviously. I think that's the way that we really better the world. But if we get way too caught up in it, then that kind of takes the fun out of it. And that also affects how we complete the mission. We have to have fun with it in order to get the job done. That's how we're going to do a better job. Just remember that you are the creator of your reality. You have free will, and you can do whatever the heck you want, whatever you set your mind to. If you are interested in a session with me, please email me, sydalexandriaegypt@gmail.com. Peace out.